We could say the 1960s for sure was one of the most turbulent decades in the world, and we get the opportunity to play as a man named Alex Mason. Mason is a CIA operative, which basically means he works for the United States government, and his job is to gather, process, and analyze national security information from around the world. During the campaign though, Mason is basically strapped into an electric chair and he's being interrogated during the entire game. You're basically reliving the operations that he went on. Now for the person playing, this is simply so that you can understand what is going on and why it's going on.
Where's the broadcast station?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The numbers, Mason. What do they mean?
They're trying to figure out what these numbers are, but also where is the number station that's going to broadcast them. Dragovich basically has sleeper cells all over the United States. When that number station broadcasts these numbers, all of the agents that have been programmed like Mason will unleash a Nova 6 chemical in every state capital in the country. Originally, the CIA needed Steiner alive to decipher the numbers, but of course with his death, Mason is the only other person left who has any knowledge regarding the numbers or the location that they're going to be broadcasted from. During that first mission, when you assassinate what we thought was Fidel Castro, you eventually make it to the part where you're escaping. If you remember, Mason winds up staying behind so that he can clear the way for the extraction plane that has Woods and Bowman on it. This is around the time that Mason is captured by the real Castro and handed over to Major General Nikita Dragovich. He handed him over as a gift.
Do with him what you wish, General. He's my gift to you, in honor of our new relationship.
This is where the very famous Vorkuta mission comes from. Mason is held in this Russian labor camp for about 2 years. During Mason's prison time, he meets Viktor Reznov. Reznov assists Mason in sparking a prisoner uprising. This is all part of facilitating Mason's escape. Now, before Mason ever escaped, he was subjected to severe mental reconditioning in order to turn him into a sleeper agent.
He will know suffering beyond his darkest fears. I have plans for you, American.
This is the reason that Castro handed him over to Dragovich. They wanted to use him as an agent who would perform Soviet missions in America, including assassinating President Kennedy. The reason Reznov is helping him is because Reznov actually hijacked his programming and used it to instill in Mason an absolute devotion to complete Reznov's vow for revenge. See, Reznov and one of his friends, Dmitri, worked on finding the Nazi scientists basically that was responsible for creating the Nova 6 chemical in the first place. And that man is Friedrich Steiner.
We had found what we were looking for. Nova 6. The German weapon of mass destruction now belonged to Mother Russia. Or so it seemed. Our victory was to be short-lived. Dragovich wanted to see the effects of the poison firsthand. It was also an opportunity to remove a thorn in his side. I had long known of their distrust, what kind of men they were. It was a betrayal I should have foreseen. Dmitri Kontrenko was a hero. He deserved the hero's death. Instead of giving his life for the glory of the motherland, he died for nothing, like an animal. He shot up, died in Berlin.
So we have Steiner, the scientist who created this chemical, and then we have Dragovich, the guy that actually has a very large plan to use this as a weapon against the US. While Mason is in this chair, he isn't just being interrogated, but he's basically being reprogrammed to remember everything. Eventually, the programming is finally broken and Mason starts to remember all of the origins of the numbers, the broadcast station, the location. He winds up naming a ship that is right off the shore of Cuba. You then eventually eventually make it to this mission where Hudson and Mason infiltrates this exact ship, and you finally get to confront Dragovich. Mason winds up strangling him and drowning him. Before dying though, Dragovich implies that Mason did complete his assignment in killing JFK.
Like I'm making kill my own president! Right?
So they did get the victory in the sense of stopping the chemical weapons from being activated, but Mason did kill JFK.
Viktor Reznov's been dead for 5 years. He died at Vorkuta during the escape. All the years you thought he was with you, that was just in your mind. I trusted him. That's why it worked. It was their attempt at MK-Ultra. Dragovich programmed you to kill Kennedy, but Reznov sabotaged you. He wanted revenge for all that Dragovich done to him. Dragovich, Kravchenko, Steiner, 3 new victims. There are gaps in your memory. Periods where you went MIA and we couldn't account for you.